It's very provoking to be called an egg. Very.
I said you look like an egg, sir. And some eggs are very pretty, you know.
Some people have no more sense than a baby.
Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. And all the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty Dumpty together again. That last line is way too long for the poetry.
Stop chattering to yourself like that, but tell me your name and your business.
My name is Alice.
Oh, it's a stupid enough name. What does it mean?
Must the name mean something?
Of course it must. Why, my name means the shape I am, and a good handsome shape it is, too. With a name like that, you might be any shape. Almost.
Why do you sit out here all alone?
Because there's nobody with me. Did you think I didn't know the answer to that? Come, ask another.
Don't you think you'd be safer down on the ground? That wall is still very narrow.
What tremendously easy riddles you ask. Of course I don't think so. Why, if ever I did fall, which there's no chance of, but if I did fall, the king has promised me. You may turn pale if you like. You didn't think I was going to say that, did you? The king has promised me with his very own mouth to send all his
horses and all his men.
Now I declare that's too bad. You've been listening at doors and behind trees and down chimneys, so you couldn't have known it.
No, I haven't. It's in a book.
Well, they may write such things in a book. That's what you call a history of England, that is. Oh, now, take a good look at me. I'm one that has spoken to a king, I am. Mayhap you'll never meet such another. And to show you I'm not proud, you may shake hands with me. Yes, all his horses and all his men, they would pick me up again in a minute. They would. However, this conversation is going on a little too fast. Let's go back to the last remark but one.
I'm afraid I don't quite remember it.
Well, then we start fresh. And it's my turn to ask you a question. So, how old did you say you were?
7 years and 6 months.
Wrong, you never said a word like it.
I thought you meant how old are you?
Oh, if I'd meant that, I'd have said it. 7 years and 6 months. An uncomfortable sort of age. Now, if you'd asked my advice, I'd have said leave off at 7, but it's too late now.
I never ask advice about growing.
Too proud?
I mean, that one can't help growing older.
Oh, one can't, perhaps, but, well, two can. With proper assistance, you might very well have left off at 7.
What a beautiful belt you've got on. At least, a beautiful necktie, I should have said. I mean, a belt. I'm very sorry.
It's a most provoking thing when a person doesn't know a belt from a necktie.
I know it's very ignorant of me.
It's a necktie, child. And a beautiful one, as you say. It's a present from the White King and Queen there now.
Is it really?
They gave it to me. They gave it to me for an unbirthday present.
I beg your pardon?
I'm not offended.
I mean, what is an unbirthday present?
Present that's given when it isn't your birthday, of course.
I like birthday presents best.
You don't know what you're talking about. How many days are there in a year?
365.
And how many birthdays have you?
1.
And if you take 1 from 365, what remains?
364, of course.
I'd rather see that done on paper. Well, that seems to be done right.
You're holding it upside down.
To be sure I was. I thought it looked a little queer. Now, as I was saying, that seems to be done right, although I haven't time to look it over thoroughly just now. And that shows that there are 364 days when one might receive an unbirthday present.
Certainly.
And only 1, for birthday presents. There's glory for you.
Certainly. I don't know what you mean by glory.
Well, of course you don't until I tell you. I meant, there's a nice knockdown argument for you.
But glory doesn't mean a nice knockdown argument.
When I use a word, it means precisely what I choose it to mean, neither more nor less.
Well, the question is to know whether you can make words mean so many different things.
The question is which is to be master. That's all. Oh, they've a temper, some of them. Particularly verbs, they're the proudest. Adjectives you can do anything with, but not verbs. However, I can manage the whole lot of them. Impenetrability, that's what I said.
Would you tell me please what that means?
Well, now you talk like a reasonable child. I meant by impenetrability that we've had quite enough of that subject, and it would do just as well if you'd mention what you plan to do next, as I suppose you don't plan to wait here all the rest of your life.
That's a great deal to make one word mean.
Well, when I make a word do a lot of work like that, I always pay extra.
You seem very clever at explaining words, sir. Would you kindly tell me the meaning of the poem called Jabberwocky?
Well, let's hear it. I can't explain all the poems that were ever invented, and a good many that haven't been invented just yet.
'Twas brillig and the slithy toves did gyre and gimble in the wave. O mimsy where the borrow goes, and the mome rafts outbrave.
Oh, that's quite enough for now, but there are plenty of hard words there. Brillig means 4 o'clock in the afternoon, the time when you begin broiling things for dinner.
That'll do very well. And what is slithy?
Oh, well, slithy means lithe and slimy. Lithe is the same as active. It's like a portmanteau, you see. 2 meanings are bunched up in the same word.
I see it now. And what are toves?
Oh, well, toves are something like badgers. There's something like lizards. And there's something like corkscrews.
They must be very curious-looking creatures.
Oh, they are that. Also, they make their nests under sundials. Also, they live on cheese.
And what's to gyre and to gimble?
To gyre is to go round and round like a gyroscope, and to gimble is to make holes like a gimlet.
And the wave is the grass plot around the sundial, I suppose.
Of course it is. It's called wave, you know, because it goes a long wave before it and a long wave behind it.
And a long wave beyond it on each side.
Exactly so. Well then, mimsy means flimsy and miserable. There's another portmanteau for you. And a borogove is a thin, shabby-looking bird with feathers sticking out all round. Something like a live mop.
And what are mome rats? I'm afraid I'm giving you a great deal of trouble.
A rat is a sort of green pig, but I'm not certain about mome. I think it's short for from home, meaning they've lost their way, you know.
And what's to outgrave?
Outgriving is something between bellowing and whistling with a kind of sneeze in the middle. Who's been repeating all this hard stuff to you?
I read it in a book. But I had some poetry repeated to me, much easier than that, by Twiddledee and Twiddledum.
Well, as to poetry, I can repeat poetry as well as other people if it should come to that.
Oh, it needn't come to that.
The poem I'm going to repeat was written entirely for your amusement.
Thank you.
In winter, when the fields are white, I sing this song for your delight. Only I don't sing it.
I see you don't.
Well, if you can see whether I'm singing or not, you've sharper eyes than most. In spring, when woods are getting green, I'll try and tell you what I mean.
Thank you very much.
In summer, when the days are long, perhaps you'll understand the song. In autumn, when the leaves are brown, take pen and ink and write it down.
I will, if I can remember it that long.
You needn't go on making remarks like that. They're not sensible and they put me out. I sent a message to the fish. I told them this is what I wish. The little fishes of the sea, they sent an answer back to me. The little fish's answer was, we cannot do it, sir, because...
I'm afraid I don't quite understand.
It gets easier further on. I sent to them again to say it will be better to obey. The fishes answered with a grin, why, what a temper you are in. I told them once, I told them twice they would not listen to advice. I took a kettle, large and new, fit for the deed I had to do. My heart went hop, my heart went thump. I filled the kettle at the pump. Then someone came to me and said, the little fishes are in bed. I said to him, I said it plain, then you must wake them up again. I said it very loud and clear. I went and shouted in his ear, but he was very stiff and proud. He said, you needn't shout so loud. And he was very proud and stiff. He said, I'm going to wake them if... I took a corkscrew from the shelf. I went to wake them up myself. And when I found the door was locked, I pulled and pushed and kicked and knocked. And when I found the door was shut, I tried to turn the handle, but...
Is that all?
That's all. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Till we meet again.
I shouldn't know you if we did meet again. You're so exactly like other people.
The face is what one goes by generally.
That's exactly what I complain of. Your face is the same as everyone has. The two eyes, so, nose in the middle, mouth under. It's always the same. Now, if you had the two eyes on the same side of the nose, for instance, or the mouth on top, that might be some help.
That wouldn't look nice.
Wait till you've tried.
Of all the unsatisfactory people I